With the release of Black Ops 6 Zombies fastly approaching, in this video we're going over absolutely everything you need to know, diving into every specific detail in the mode. We're talking in depth on both Zombies maps, all gameplay mechanics, Gobblegum, modes, perks, field upgrades, weapons, high rounds, rewards, and so much more. I've been able to play both Zombies maps and have exclusive gameplay to share with you in this video as we dive into everything you need to know. If you learned something new about Black Ops 6 Zombies that you didn't know before this video, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single Black Ops 6 Zombies video when the game launches. Diving straight in, Black Ops 6 Zombies is a purely round-based zombies focused game, and on launch there will be two Zombies maps for you to play, Terminus and Liberty Falls. Terminus being one of the biggest round-based Zombies maps ever made, where anywhere you can see you can go, and Liberty Falls, a more smaller, casual Zombies map experience, is still packed with Easter eggs and of course a main Easter egg quest on both maps. Many of the gameplay systems will be familiar to veteran Zombies players, whilst other parts of the gameplay systems have been designed to grow the community, allowing newer players to enjoy Zombies and experience the main Easter egg quests. Black Ops 6 Zombies is a blend of gameplay systems between Black Ops Cold War and Black Ops 3. The Black Ops 3 inspired features are a dedicated crew, Gobblegums, and weapon customization, whilst the inspirations from Cold War is the global progression system, permanent upgrades, and mode-specific systems. We'll be diving into specifics with both Terminus and Liberty Falls in a bit, but fundamentally those maps and every map in the game will feature infinite round-based Zombies gameplay, along with a main quest as well as side Easter eggs. Just like with Black Ops Cold War Zombies, the mode will have two sets of currencies, main currency being Essence, which is the points you earn by killing zombies, which can be used to open doors, buying perks, upgrading weapons at the Pack-a-Punch, buying ammo, the mystery box, all the typical things you'd associate with classic round-based zombies, and the other currency, Salvage, you earn from finding randomly from fallen enemies. These are used to access ammo mods and special elemental powers via the Arsenal machine, as well as crafting equipment at a crafting table. Unlike Black Ops Cold War, however, this has been streamlined to simply one type of salvage, as opposed to normal and high-grade salvage in Cold War. And for the first time ever in Zombies, salvage drops are now player-specific, so you'll never need to worry about teammates hoovering up your hard-earned salvage before you get a chance. Mentioned earlier, every single round-based Zombies map in Black Ops 6 will feature its own hidden main Easter egg quest. This is a completely unguided, completely hidden set of multiple objectives that culminate in an epic quest, usually with a boss fight, and for the first time in Black Ops 6 Zombies, completing a map's main quest will earn you unique rewards themed after that map, and each map will have a set of multiple rewards that you'll earn from completing that map's main quest multiple times. The difficulty of the main quest in Black Ops 6 Zombies will be more challenging than what we saw in Black Ops Cold War, and everything discussed is part of the standard mode featured in Black Ops 6 Zombies. This includes your normal Zombies round progression, no guidance beyond how to activate the Pack-a-Punch machine, and a ton of side quests, Easter eggs, and the main Easter egg quest will be enabled. Reflecting more on the main Easter egg quest difficulty, they want the Easter egg steps to have logic with connective tissue between steps, so it's not completely random what we'll be doing in between each objective. In terms of discoverability, it will be harder to find things and will be harder than it was in Cold War, but they don't want it to be where you have to just shoot some random thing in order for a step to be completed. But Treyarch are also adding an all-new directed mode to welcome more players into Zombies. The directed mode will see a delayed release from the launch of the game, planned to release later in the season after each map's launch to protect the sanctity of the traditional Easter egg hunt. But in this mode, players will be given full guidance throughout the main Easter egg quest. Players will be told how to complete the Easter egg and will be guided through every single step. And within this, the rounds will be capped to certain stages of the quest progression, where if a group of players manage to take out every zombie in the round will simply reset rather than the rounds going up and up. All other existing side Easter eggs are disabled in this mode, so the main quest is all that you can do in this mode. If you complete a main quest in the normal standard mode, you will earn an extra reward for completing the main quest the old-fashioned way. Completing a main Easter egg on the standard mode will unlock a unique Wonder Weapon skin. And if you complete a map's main quest before the directed mode releases, you will earn a limited time calling card, giving you a limited limited permanent reward for completing a main Easter egg quest by solving it yourself. And for the first time since Black Ops 3 Zombies, you'll have the option to keep playing your Zombies game after you finish the main quest instead of the game automatically ending. Similarly to Black Ops Cold War Zombies, you can also choose to exfil, where every 5 rounds you'll be able to activate an exfil point where after surviving a massive horde of zombies, you'll be able to leave the match with some extra XP. But if you're playing a game of zombies that you don't want to end, you can now take advantage of the new save and quit feature. For the first time ever in Zombies, you can choose to save your solo match at any time, provided you are at full health, aren't downed, dead, or actively engaged in an exfil. And whenever you want to pick that solo game up again, be it in a few hours, a few days, or even a few weeks, you can load one specific save file and continue your Zombies game. If enough time passes whilst you're paused and AFK, the game will automatically save your game state, where you'll be able to simply load the save file to continue your solo game. And on the rare occasion that the game servers, your internet, your power going out, or any other circumstance that could have your game disconnect from the game servers, on solo you'll be able to load up a save close to the point in time you disconnected and continue. And if you disconnected from a squad match but the host is still active on the game, you can rejoin and continue the match after a small period of time spectating. A huge quality of life change to private matchmaking in Black Ops 6 Zombies, where now players can join another friend's game no matter how far they are through the game. The only requirements is that the host has room in the game and their party is in a joinable state. Let's now break down all of the gameplay features that are inspired from Black Ops 3 Zombies and Black Ops Cold War Zombies, starting with Black Ops 3. The first feature being a dedicated crew. In the previous Black Ops Zombies game Cold War, you could play as any operator you want, and you can do the same in Black Ops 6. But this time around, there is also a dedicated set crew of characters featured throughout the Black Ops 6 Zombies storyline. This being Grigori Weaver, Elizabeth Gray, Mackenzie Mac Carver, and Maya Aguinaldo. The majority of the Black Ops 6 Zombies maps will feature this dedicated crew as the main characters you play as. And by playing as them, you'll experience the full breadth of the storyline and all the other unique quotes you'd expect to experience when playing as different characters throughout the maps. The second launch Zombies map, Liberty Falls, will be the only one that doesn't follow this rule, as this map takes place at the exact same time as Terminus. Since characters can't be in 2 places at the same time, you will play as a different set of characters, being completely random chosen operators by the player, who is assumed to be part of a Project Janus cleanup operation. Another returning Black Ops 3 gameplay feature is GobbleGums. GobbleGums are special unlockable consumable items that will give you specific bonuses, abilities, or effects that can range drastically between being given all perks on the map all at once to being able to teleport to a random location on the map. Unlike perks in Black Ops Zombies, you don't lose GobbleGums when you go down. However, unlike a perk where its effects last for the entire duration of the game as long as you have it, not all GobbleGums last for the same length of time. Before jumping into a game of Black Ops 6 Zombies, you will pick a single GobbleGum pack to bring in with you. This pack can be customized to include a total of 5 different GobbleGums. Once you're in a game of Zombies, you can access this pack of 5 gums via a GobbleGum machine that holds each GobbleGum in your pack and spits one out randomly once you interact with it. The GobbleGums you will have in Black Ops 6 are chosen based on the collection that you have in your inventory on the main menu. GobbleGums come in a variety of rarities in Black Ops 6, such as rare, epic, legendary, ultra, and whimsical, with the general rule that the higher the rarity, the more powerful the effect of the GobbleGum. The GobbleGums you can choose are based on the collection you have in your inventory, and every GobbleGum is a single-use item and permanently removed from your inventory once received in-game. In order to access a GobbleGum, you simply interact with the GobbleGum machine, which costs no points, and a GobbleGum is randomly dropped ready for pickup. The machine then cools down on a timer or will be immediately reset on the next round. Grab the GobbleGum out of the machine once it's dispensed, and it will be added into your in-game inventory and be visible on your heads-up display. Unlike its implementation in Black Ops 3 Zombies, you can store up to 3 unique GobbleGums at once on your character, rather than the GobbleGum being instantly used the moment you pick it up from the machine, allowing you to store up to 3 unique at once and use 1, 2, or all 3 of them all at once as well. GobbleGums cannot be dropped or shared, but you can swap to a different GobbleGum pack at any time during a match by using the in-game menu, and changing your pack will reset the randomized order of the new pack. Also, unlike Black Ops 3 Zombies, since the Gobblegum isn't instantly activated the moment you get it, the Gobblegum is considered unused, and any that are unused are kept between matches, and you won't lose them if you happen to disconnect from a match. There are currently two methods to earn Gobblegums. The first is simply by playing the game, where you can expect to earn one or more random Gobblegums every few rounds, and you'll know when you've been awarded a new Gobblegum due to a reward sequence at the start of a subsequent round. There is no liquid divinium system like there was in Black Ops 3 Zombies to earn the chance of spinning a factory for Gobblegums. You'll simply earn them by playing or by buying the Gobblegums directly through the Black Ops 6 in-game store. Currently, we don't know many details such as pricing, if you can buy the Gobblegums individually or if they'll be in store bundles, but you will be able to buy them directly through the store when the game launches. A lot later in the video, I'll dive into all of the known Gobblegums so far for Black Ops 6 Zombies, but let's now go over the returning Cold War Zombies gameplay features, starting with global progression. Just like with the rest of Black Ops 6, classic prestige returns to Zombies, with military levels of 55 levels, with 10 classic prestiges and 1000 levels to get to Prestige Master. The progression system in Zombies is a global system, which means it's connected to all the other modes of the game, such as multiplayer and Warzone. Global weapon progression is also tied to Zombies, where throughout the game, every weapon has its own weapon leveling journey to progress through and complete, with most weapons having between 40 and 50 weapon levels. Zombies will have its own camo challenges along with a complete set of unique mastery camos to unlock. This year being the zombie camos Mystic Gold, Opal, Afterlife, and Nebula. A great quality of life change they've made to Black Ops 6 this year is you can start progressing towards these camos immediately on day one, as now camo progression can start immediately from level 1 of each weapon rather than you getting them to max rank first. There is also a plethora of calling card challenges in Zombies with a 100% completion reward at launch, a ton of secret challenges known as Dark Ops challenges, and on launch Zombies will also have daily challenges, allowing you to maximize your grind with as much possible XP earn as possible. The intel system that was introduced in Black Ops Cold War is back in Black Ops 6, but it's had some pretty big updates. Firstly, intel is complementary to the story and will focus more on exploring the depth of that Zombies map or the things you encounter in that Zombies map to get a little bit more backstory. The intel will be a wider range in content, but will have more important pieces of intel where the focus in this game is quality over quantity. Treyarch will also be showing more of the story through in-game cutscenes rather than telling it via intel, and the intel will be building up the world and answering questions, but it will also provide new questions too. One of the biggest fundamental systems in Black Ops 6 Zombies is the introduction of Augments, the next evolution in the permanent upgrade systems that Black Ops Cold War first introduced, where every perk, ammo mod, and field upgrade will have its own research path, allowing you to unlock the true power of each item, which take in the form of augments. Each perk, ammo mod, and field upgrade will have a total of 6 augments per item, 3 major and 3 minor, which will aim to provide a rich and innovative customization experience where you'll be investing into researching and upgrading each of these in between matches. A minor augment offers a limited advantage to the item, usually during use, and a major augment offers a substantial advantage to the behavior of the item. From the 6 researched augments, you can choose to apply 1 minor and 1 major augment to each perk, ammo mod, and field upgrade. This augment system is designed to create a really deep progression path, and rather than Cold War where you can eventually max out on permanently unlocking everything and being super powerful, this time you'll have to experiment with all of the available augments to learn how they interact with other augments and finding the best setups, where there won't be a one-fits-all type meta, as there will be dozens of setups that will all work depending on your playstyle. There are over 100 augments available at launch for you to unlock that will drastically change how each piece of these items work. I'll go into a lot more detail later in the video on every single known augment ability, but some of the standouts are being able to apply Dying Wish onto Juggernog, being able to have the old school zombie shield on your back with Juggernog, transforming the energy mine field upgrade to have a carousel of 3 energy mines that float around you, detonating once an enemy is within the radius, and being able to upgrade upgrade ammo mods like Brain Rot so you can brain rot elite enemies. Another returning gameplay feature from Black Ops Cold War is the loadout system, where you can begin a zombies match using any weapon you want. This weapon can be fully customized in the gunsmith ahead of jumping into zombies. You can apply a plethora of attachments to make the weapon better. You'll be able to see the pros and cons to each attachment that you're applying, and will allow you to make informed weapon building decisions easily and create effective builds without constantly needing to look up meta builds online. Similarly to this is a brand new gameplay feature called Zombie Builds, where you'll be able to build your preferred weapon across every weapon in Black Ops 6 using the gunsmith, and it will be available everywhere within a zombies map, including in the mystery box as well as the wall buys. You'll be able to customize every single one of these to be the exact meta build of the weapon that you want, but it's a completely optional choice if you want to have that on or not. This feature was inspired by the Black Ops 3 wall kits and the blueprint system from Black Ops Cold War. In theory, this change should mean that every weapon you get out the mystery box will now be a lot more useful, since it should actually be better than your weapon loadout in terms of its rarity depending on when you get it in the game, as well as the attachments that it has. And on the topic of weapon rarities, that also returns from Black Ops Cold War, where the upgrade tier of your weapon is visible on your heads-up display as the color behind your ammo and reserves. And this ties in to let you know the tier of damage your weapon is capable of inflicting. By using increasing amounts of salvage at the arsenal machine, you'll be able to upgrade your weapon rarity, going from uncommon all the way up to legendary, taking it from the beginning loadout tier 1 damage all the way up to tier 5 damage. Along with classic weapon wall buys, new to Black Ops 6 Zombies is armor level wall buys. But unlike in Black Ops Cold War, where you use salvage to upgrade your armor level from 1 to 3, you now upgrade these via buying armor wall buys off the wall using points. You begin each game with a level 1 armor vest, and in order to upgrade to level 2 and 3, you need to buy those respective armors off the wall. The level 2 armor wall buy costs 4,000 points, and level 3 armor will cost 10,000 points, or 14,000 if you didn't buy level 2 armor. A few awesome gameplay improvements that are new to Black Ops 6 Zombies is that door buys can now be shared across players. So if you can't afford to buy a specific door, you can buy half of the door and another player can buy the other half, and this is reflected on the scoreboard, so you now know who's buying doors and who isn't. As mentioned earlier, salvage has been simplified to simply one type of salvage, and there are now player-specific drops. Unlike Black Ops Cold War, there is no longer a pack-a-punch menu when you interact with the machine. You simply interact with it, your weapon's instantly upgraded. And ammo mods return from Black Ops Cold War, but this is now part of the arsenal machine and no longer part of the pack-a-punch machine. At launch, you'll be able to access the following returning ammo mods: Brain Rot, Cryo Freeze, Dead Wire, and Napalm Burst. But in addition, there will be one new one available called Shadow Rift, where the bullets will deal shadow damage. Each bullet has a chance to spawn a black hole if striking normal or special enemies, and warping nearby enemy zombies away, dropping some from the air at high speed. Now, Zombies isn't Zombies without Perk-A-Colas, and a lot of fan favorite perks are returning, as well as one brand new perk. So let's go over all of the perks coming to Black Ops 6 Zombies on launch, starting with the classic Juggernog, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, Stamina Up, PhD Flopper, Deadshot Daiquiri, Elemental Pop, and a brand new perk called Melee Macchiato. This perk replaces your weapon gun butt with a deadly punch that sends enemies flying. Notice how I said replace weapon gun butt, because when you start in a game of Black Ops 6 Zombies, pressing the melee button won't automatically bring out a knife to melee the zombies, as you'll have a dedicated melee weapon that is completely separate by holding down your melee button in order to bring it out. This perk seems very similar to the 1-inch punch that you can get on Origins, which will be a one hit up until around round 15. Just like with Black Ops Cold War Zombies, there is no perk limit, and you also don't have to buy the perks specifically from their respective machines, as you can also buy every perk from the Wonder Fizz machine, which in Liberty Falls is located on the rooftop of the bank, and in Terminus is located on the sunken boat that you can find in the water just a little distance away from the main island. Beyond aimlessly killing the undead and going through rounds, you can also take part in trials, where there'll be trial stations across the map on both Terminus and Liberty Falls. These are indicated by a purple light in the sky, which isn't to be confused with the light of the mystery box, as this similar system to Cold War Zombies returns, but the machine phases in and out of reality across the map, so it will move intermittently, but interacting with this will allow you to complete a special trial objective. This can involve holding down a specific part of the map, taking enemies out in a skillful manner, or a host of other conditions. If you manage to complete this objective within the time frame, a special chest will warp into reality, offering a bunch of interesting rewards, ranging from a potential upgraded weapon to even a wonder weapon, or a significant amount of point drops. During your time in Zombies, you will also be going up to crafting tables in order to craft a variety of tactical, lethal, and support equipment, ranging from different types of typical grenades all the way up to creating monkey bombs and LT-53 Casimirs, ton of lethal equipment such as grenades, molotovs, frags, and the most important section being support items, where you can craft self-revives where you're now limited to only 3 per game, and kill streaks like the ARCXD, a sentry turret, and one of the newest and wildest new things in Black Ops 6 Zombies is mutant injection, which will temporarily transform you into a mangler. For a certain length of time, you will become one of the zombies, having a vicious melee swipe, a ranged mangler cannon attack, and a zombie killing barging sprint. You can enable this at any time once you've crafted the mutant injection. Very shortly, we're going to dive into the specifics of each zombies map. But universal to every map and experience you play in Black Ops 6 Zombies, you'll be able to toggle the health bars and the zombie damage numbers, so if you don't want to see them, they can all be turned off. Furthermore, if you want a different style of HUD, then you can choose from several different HUD presets that are hard baked into the game. If for whatever reason you don't want to have a Pack-a-Punch camo applied onto your weapon once you Pack-a-Punch it, you can simply pause your game and toggle the Pack-a-Punch camos inside the menu. There is no need to melee the machine before you Pack-a-Punch like you had to do in Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare Zombies. If you want to change your field upgrade mid-match, all you need to do is pause your game and then select a different field upgrade. You no longer have to select a completely different loadout just because it already has a different field upgrade as part of it. And an awesome addition to Black Ops 6 Zombies now is game over outro. So whenever you fully die out in a game of zombies, the last zombie that killed you will actually be shown in a in-game cutscene to show that death in a really cool and funny way. And there are loads of different game over outros depending on how you ended up dying in your zombies game, with a specific outro being shown even if you died during the Exfil, where it shows the Exfil chopper being taken down by zombies. And the last and final thing is that the Rampage Inducer, first introduced in Cold War Zombies, is returning. This is a device that is in every spawn room in Black Ops 6 Zombies, and when activated, dials up the speed in which the zombies spawn as well as their movement speed to super sprinters that you'd see from round 55 onwards. Enabling this allows you to speed through the early rounds of a match, allowing you to progress through the map quicker, but it also adds an extra challenge. And this could be deactivated at any point and reactivated again at any point as well. But at this point, I think we've covered all of the general specifics for Black Ops 6 Zombies with gameplay, but now let's dive into the specifics with both zombies maps, first starting with Terminus. Terminus is set in a remote island complex located in the Philippine Sea. Set during the early hours of the morning, and after Peck and Maya break the Requiem crew out of their prison cells, you'll begin within the cell blocks, opening up and making your way into the bio-research station that is housed underneath the prison complex. As mentioned, you'll be playing as the dedicated crew Grigori Weaver, Elizabeth Gray, Mackenzie Mac Carver, and Maya Aguinaldo, with your handlers being Dr. Peck and Oscar Strauss. This map is the biggest play space that Treyarch have ever made, with the design intentions of this map to be endlessly replayed. For Treyarch, it was really important that the design philosophy for every map in Black Ops 6 Zombies is that they are all new locations designed specifically for zombies. Distinctly working on the feedback that they heard from Cold War, really wanted to change that direction and make a lot of cool and unique new maps. And a major tenet for Black Ops 6 is the maps are going to feel like a living world, where there's lots of environmental storytelling with experiments and zombies ripping bodies up, etc. And that is something that you can clearly see throughout all of the design of Terminus. From the first spawn room, you're going to interact with an electrical powered generator that's going to attract zombies, and you're going to need to repeat this on 3 total machines. So the first one in the spawn room, the second one is once you've opened up to the outside of the map. On one side of the map where the Juggernog perk is, you will find that second machine that you'll want to interact with, and then then the third and final machine is once you've opened further in the map and made your way towards the underground section towards that massive lab. In the center of that area is where you'll find the third and final machine that you're going to have to power up, and as you can see, interacting and starting this will spawn a ton of zombies, including the brand new Vermin, which are large spider-like creatures with a demonic central head that takes the form of a screaming human head. If you're not careful, these have the potential to evolve into another form, emitting gas, elongating their skull, and changing into an airborne type zombie, which is the Parasites, where these zombies prefer to remain at distance, harassing you with a pelting of acid bile projectiles that are spat from their mouths. Once all three of these power generators have been enabled, you gain access to the Pack-a-Punch machine on the map, which is on a moving platform. It first begins underground on this platform bridge area here, but at times will manually move from this bottom location in the research lab to move to higher ground above where you first started on the map. Just like an elevator, this can be called and requested from either side of the map to bring the Pack-a-Punch to different places. One of the other unique factors of this map is that it contains water travel and island exploration. As for the first time in round-based zombies, there is a player-controlled vehicle, being the tactical raft. This allows you to travel between different points of interest on the map safely and quickly, and can be summoned on demand via different boat spawners at different POIs around the map. If you want to spawn the tactical raft at a location where the raft currently isn't there, by requesting it, a portal will spawn that will drop the boat to you. A constant threat that you need to be aware of when using the tactical raft is a zombie known simply as the Tentacle. This worm-like creature spits out a billowing spray of noxious vapors and will always slowly but surely follow you around in the water, spreading a slow-moving toxic gas that if you are in its mists, you will start taking damage. At the moment, it's unknown if this monster can be taken down and what its benefits are, so we'll just have to wait and see. This adds an added risk when venturing off the main island and into the water, which is a threat you'll have to manage. Unique to the Terminus map is another brand new zombie type known as the Amalgam, which is a 8-foot abomination that is the combined DNA of multiple individuals. It has multiple appendages, including heads, all growing from seemingly random locations. It has limbs in areas that it shouldn't be. It can have up to 10 arms and 5 legs, and it can regenerate limbs previously shot off. Its main attack is it tries to absorb you or other zombies by stretching out its limbs into a tendril to pull you into its chest. The classic Mangler from Black Ops 3 Zombies returns as a zombie enemy with a threatening arm cannon that shoots multiple shots and a vicious melee swipe attack that you'll want to avoid at all costs. Classic dog-style rounds return for Terminus, but in this map, it is a Parasite special round, sending a moody orangey green tint across the screen and dozens of parasites to take out before you'll be rewarded with a max ammo. This map is full of secrets waiting for you to discover, such as a secret room just off from the spawn room where if you manage to get a key that's dropped from Manglers, you can go into a small room for a certain amount of time where inside you can use that key on a weapon locker, potentially get some rewards such as a free weapon, some free equipment, and some free points. Treyarch has gone on record to say that this map will have the most amount of Easter eggs that we've seen in any round-based zombies map to date, rivaling even that of Shadows of Evil. Its main quest is going to be epic and is going to utilize every area of the map, including all of the islands that you have to traverse through the water to get to. The map also features some very unique environmental traps, such as the tentacle trap above a doorway, which has tentacles coming down similar to an electric trap. Activate the trap and an electric pulse is sent that agitates the tentacle box, dropping it down to shoulder height and releasing these deadly tentacles. You can be grabbed by the tentacles, but if you are, you can shoot them or knife them to escape their grasp. Another really cool trap is the Void Cannon Trap, which is a spectacular trap that can be visible from everywhere around the map when it's used. If you have a zombie horde chasing you, activate the console, press the button, and the barrels on the trap begin to rise, and the lasers create black holes at the end of the barrel. Suction from these black holes are so strong that it will suck up zombies and even yourself and other players if you're near it. And if you are sucked up, then you're teleported to a random location on the map. The map is really made to feel like a living world where there is ambience constantly in action and random encounters on each playthrough, designed to make the map feel more scary, cool, and spectacular. There are some specific things that you'll want to be going for on some of these outer islands, such as this boat out in the middle of the sea, as on there you'll be able to get the highest level armor wall buy, as well as access the the Wonderfizz machine, which is located on the very end of this boat, and the potential chance of some other secret rooms lying around in this boat. When it comes to this island, you may have noticed that there are Origin-style dig spots all over this island, and you can find shovels all around the map that will allow you to dig these spots up with the chance of you being rewarded with some sort of free equipment, power-ups, or other special gadgets. And of course, a zombies map isn't complete without its own unique wonder weapon, and for Terminus, it has a very cool new weapon called the Beam Smasher. Available via the mystery box and assumed via a side Easter egg quest, this wonder weapon has two firing modes. Its primary fires a solid beam of energy, causing anything in its path to explode in a cloud of vapor. The longer you fire the weapon in this primary mode, the more difficult it will be to move whilst firing. Whilst it's fired, the weapon experiences energy venting as excess pressure builds up in the ammunition tube. Because of this, the weapon automatically reloads, which also causes a small blast radius and knocks down any zombies within the vicinity. The secondary fire focuses on sound waves, which vibrate the molecules inside the zombies incredibly quick. This causes the zombies to slow down rather than damage them, but any zombies that are slowed down become much more easily damaged by both the primary firing mode and conventional firepower from other weapons. As you'd expect, this weapon can be pack-a-punched 3 times in total, increasing the longevity of that firepower as well as its reload speed. And of course, it wouldn't be zombies without another classic returning wonder weapon where, yes, the ray gun is returning. Compared to other zombies games, it's had new visual improvements such as a new coat of paint, new animations when firing the weapon, as well as reload and new inspect animations. Now, I don't have gameplay of it on Terminus, so you're gonna have to see this on the other map, which we'll get into in a moment. That just about wraps up every detail about Terminus I can share with you. But this map is going to be central to the Dark Aether storyline, as this will explore the fortunes of key characters, while also further delving into Richtofen's motivations and goals. Now we know that he is the director. And on the topic of Richtofen, let's now dive into the specifics of Liberty Falls, where in its intro cutscene we learn that Edward Richtofen is back. Traumatized by nightmares related to the death of his wife and son, this trauma fuels the motivation around his actions. Richtofen is still the director, but is now heading up Project Janus, a top secret organization which he is overseeing in an old mansion on the hillside above the map Liberty Falls. Things go very wrong when Samantha Maxis, who was cast into the Dark Aether at the end of Black Ops Cold War, creates an incursion in the town, turning anything in its path into zombies. The atmosphere of Liberty Falls, which takes place at the same time as Terminus, visually and physically feels like a night and day difference to Terminus. From what we've seen so far, Liberty Falls has a much more basic map layout than Terminus, starting you off in a rooftop within the spawn room, where making your way down to ground level, you'll notice that there are objective markers telling you to investigate the town, allowing you to open either end of the main street in order you to get all the way from one end to the other to get you to the church, where opening that reveals the Pack-a-Punch. Unlike Terminus, there doesn't seem to be any sort of power that you need to activate in order to get most of the map functioning. But as you go through the rounds, you will hear instructions and dialogue from Project Janus Security Chief John Blanchard, who is acting as your handler, who assumes your team is part of a Project Janus security cleanup operation and monitors your progress against the undead from afar. Traversing around this map is a lot more simple than Terminus, where you'll be scouring through side streets, but can also utilize zip lines to navigate from one side of the map to the other, and also using ascender ropes to get atop certain building rooftops in order to access all of what the map has to offer. Where if you go atop the bank's roof, named the Alamo, you'll have multiple zip lines that will take you across the map as well as to the spawn, as well as having the Arsenal machine as well as the Wonderfizz machine. This map has a known side quest where in 3 locations around the map you're looking for a post-it note with a section of a code on it. One can be found in the bank right in front of the bank vault, another can be found under the counter in the Ollie's comic store, and one that can be found in the bowling alley on this counter by shooting this bucket to reveal the code. Once you've put in the 6-digit code correctly, you'll gain access to the bank vault, and as long as you have a key that is dropped from certain zombie types like the Mangler, you'll have 45 seconds to interact with a deposit box and have the chance of getting some rewards similarly to Terminus with that secret locker room. Around the map, first visible in the spawn room is Dark Aether field generator traps, where when activated, these zombie dissolving devices pulp and pulverize any zombies that walk near them. Inside Ollie's comic, comics, there is also a trap known as the Aetherella trap, who is a superhero in her graphic novel, and when activated, she emits a burning laser from her eyes that will melt all zombies in her way, but also will damage you, so you might want to take cover underneath the counter. One trap that you may not realize is even part of the map is the multitude of cars that are lying around the map. Any that are not already on fire can be used as a makeshift explosive device. But be careful, as if you have any explosive firepower, that can easily make them explode, and without PhD Flopper could result in an unfortunate down. When it comes to zombie types, just like Terminus, you'll be facing vermin as part of the special dog round of the map. They will also spawn in the later rounds along with the zombie hordes. You'll also face against manglers on this map, and you'll also face a unique enemy for Liberty Falls, which is the Abomination. This returns from Modern Warfare zombies, and you'll have to aim for their active glowing mouths in order to take them out. Now, Liberty Falls wouldn't be complete without its own unique wonder weapon specific to the map itself, and this is the return of the fan favorite jet gun from Black Ops 2's Transit. This has had some significant upgrades from that version in Black Ops 2, where it no longer combusts and breaks when it hits 100% capacity, and the weapon has two firing modes. The primary fire instantly pulls in any nearby zombies, mincing them through the engines, making it a weapon that is guaranteed to hoover up all the zombies. However, when the weapon is fired, you'll notice that it has a pressure gauge that shows the weapon's temperature. This also is a visual for the ammo counter that you'll have in the bottom right, where if the ammo gets to 0, the weapon regenerates its own ammo, but for a short while it is inoperable until the weapon has cooled down. You'll verbally hear some beeping from the weapon when it's reaching low ammo, and its secondary fire is a purposeful overheating of the weapon, which produces a massive backblast, creating this huge area of effect blast which pulverizes zombies and any other enemies nearby with a huge amount of damage, something that wasn't available in Black Ops 2, and makes moments with elite zombies an absolute breeze by just how powerful this secondary fire is. However, once you've used this, the weapon automatically overheats and it will need to cool down before it can be used again. On top of the primary fire sucking in zombies, it can also be used to drag any nearby power-ups and salvage towards you. It can be pack-a-punched a total of 3 times, giving it a massive increase in how quickly the cooldown timer is, as well as its max fire rate, and is accompanied by the classic ray gun that is also featured on this map. There is a lot more to this map than what has been explored so far from the early previews, and will have its own rich, full main Easter egg quest once the game launches. Now we've gone over both maps, let's now jump into the specifics, such as all 108 upgrades being the augments in Black Ops 6 Zombies, which will be a fully customizable upgrades for every ammo mod, perk, and field upgrade. So let's first start with perks and with Juggernog, and this is where we see the return of the old school zombie shield if you choose that specific upgrade. Now remember, as we go through the list of every item from major and minor, you can only pick one out of the 3 from each. So for Juggernog, we have Probiotic, which slightly increases your max health, which means it could possibly be an extra 150 HP instead of 100. Turtle Shell, where armor acts as a shield on your back, completely absorbing damage to your back. No damage is mitigated when hit from the front. So that is extremely interesting. It doesn't sound like you will visually have a shield on your back, but it mimics the sensation of using the old school zombie shield on your back, but it's using the armor plate system. And Reactive Armor, where when an armor plate breaks, nearby normal enemies are stunned for a short time, which also sounds similar to Victoria's Tortoise, a perk from Black Ops 4 Zombies. Remember, you can only choose one of those 3 listed here for the major augments, and for minor augments we have Retaliation, where you deal bonus damage while health is low, Hardened Plates, where your plates have more damage mitigation, or Durable Plates, which slightly increase your armor durability. Moving on to Stamina, where with major augments you can choose to either have Free Faller, where you become immune to full damage, which is part of the PhD Flopper perk effects that we also saw as an upgrade in Cold War Zombies, Dasher, which increases your tactical sprint duration, or Stalker, where you walk faster while aiming. Now that last one may not sound too useful, but when we got to play early, it was considerably noticeable that whilst you were aiming, you did walk pretty slow. So being able to move faster whilst you're aiming down sights in zombies is pretty dang useful. And for minor augments, we have Hard Target, where while tack sprinting, projectile damage is reduced, Quarterback, where using equipment while sprinting, or Hot Foot, which gains a speed boost after your equipment kills an enemy. Moving on to Speed Cola, for major augments we have Supercharged, which allows field upgrades to recharge a bit faster, Classic Formula, which makes the reload speed even faster, and phantom reload, where the weapon magazine is slowly refilled over time. This sounds like a weird hybrid of the mags of holding schematic from Modern Warfare Zombies, which if that works in the same way, that is a very useful augment to choose. Jumping to minor augments, we have Speedy Roulette, which makes the mystery box settle much faster, which is integrating the time slip perk from Black Ops 4 Zombies, which had the same ability. Quick Swap, which allows you to swap your weapons faster, and Fast Pitcher, which allows you to deploy equipment faster. For Deadshot Daiquiri, the major augments are Deadhead, which further increases its critical damage, Dead First, where you deal double crit damage if an enemy is at full health, and Dead Again, where critical hits have a chance of adding a bullet to your magazine. In theory, all three of these are incredibly powerful options, but that final one sounds like it would be extremely lucrative, reducing the amount of times you'd need to reload. Now, forgive me if I'm interpreting this incorrectly, but with the description of Dead First dealing double critical damage if an enemy is at full health, the very concept of dealing double critical damage almost sounds like Treyarch are slightly adding in a double tap effect with this specific augment, where ever since Black Ops 4 Zombies, the double tap perk has been completely removed. So for me, it really is between Dead First and Dead Again, where you could either have a similar style double tap effect for enemies at full health only, or having your critical hits having a chance of adding an extra bullet to your mag. For minor augments, we have Dead Break, which increases damage to armor pieces, Dead Draw, which reduces hipfire spread, and Dead Set, which reduces your gun's movement while performing advanced movement. In theory, that last one would also mean that you would be able to start shooting your weapon quicker once you've performed advanced movement or whilst, which could be very useful and almost replicate the movement and fluidity we've seen in previous Zombies games like Black Ops 3 Zombies. Moving on to Quick Revive, for major augments, we have EMT, where reviving an ally allows them to keep all of their perks on their bleed out bar. Equivalent Exchange, where killing a zombie while downed will revive you and remove Quick Revive, and this can be done up to 3 times. This is very interesting, as this mechanic was also in Cold War, but there wasn't a limit to how many times you could do this. You could buy Quick Revive as many times as you lost it, and you would always have this benefit, but now this is limited to 3 uses in game. And Dying Wish, where on lethal damage, become immune to all damage for 2 seconds and keep 1 health. Quick Revive is removed on use, which is the return of another Black Ops 4 perk, Dying Wish. For minor augments, we have Swift Recovery, where reviving an ally increases both of your movement speeds for a short time. Karmic Return, where reviving an ally heals you to full health, which is very powerful, especially if you're reviving someone whilst you're covered in zombies that are hitting you whilst you're doing that. That is very powerful. And Slow Death, which increases your time in Last Stand. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time that you've ever been able to increase the time that you're down in Last Stand for in Zombies. That Karmic Return sounds absolutely OP. Moving on to Elemental Pop, for major augments, you have Citrus Focus, where if a weapon has an ammo mod applied, Elemental Pop will only activate that ammo mod, which is a fantastic upgrade. Imperial Peach, where enemies that hit you have a chance to trigger a random ammo mod, or Electric Cherry, which essentially gives you the Electric Cherry perk, where reloading creates an electrical damage charge around you that damages and stuns nearby enemies. The emptier the mag, the stronger the damage. For minor augments, we have Vulnerabeam, where it slightly increases the enemy elemental weakness damage. Pineapple Blast, where equipment can also trigger a random ammo mod, which is a very cool concept. And Chill Berry, which slightly reduces all your ammo mod cooldowns, meaning that the ammo mods will activate more often. Moving on to PhD Flopper, the major augments are Gravity MD, where just falling from heights creates explosions, giving us that OG PhD Flopper effect. Dr. Ram, where tactical sprint will knock down and damage base zombies, making you a bit like an American football player. Or PhD Slider, which simply converts the perk into Slider, where sliding into enemies triggers explosions over falling from heights. For minor augments, we have Environmentalist, where you become immune to environmental damage while sliding, which I think is going to be a very useful one, depending if there's any environmental damage that could be added in certain areas like boss fights. EDD Technician, which slightly reduces your height and distance requirements for explosions, meaning you'll be able to perform those classic dolphin dives from much easier, smaller heights and distances. And Tribologist, where sliding distance and speed are increased. Now, this could also be a huge one to have, simply because this sounds sounds like it could replicate the movement of Black Ops 3 zombies, where people love being able to chain that slide movement to move quicker around the map, and it sounds like this is the closest thing to having that. And the final perk augments in the list is Melee Macchiato. For major augments, Espresso makes all melee attacks slightly faster, Vampiric Extraction, where melee attacks heal a small amount of your health, or Triple Shot, where your punch can hit multiple enemies at once. Vampiric Extraction sounds absolutely OP, where if you're stuck in a corner, by simply meleeing zombies, you'll be given health back as well as your health regenning naturally, which could actually really save you in certain scenarios. And moving to minor augments, we have Stick and Move, where backpedal speed is increased after a successful melee, Strength Training, where your punch can one-hit kill normal enemies for longer, and Hidden Impact, where melee kills reload a portion of your held weapon. And that last one sounds incredibly useful, because generally you would use the melee if you were stuck in an area where you had to just use that as an option because you were mid-reload. Let's now move on to the ammo mod augments, where there are 5 ammo mods in total: Brain Rot, Cryo Freeze, Deadwire, Napalm Burst, and Shadow Rift. Starting with Brain Rot, which you can use as an ammo mod at level 27. The major augments are Plague, where the charmed enemy has a chance to turn other enemies, Pherome, where the charmed enemy distracts nearby normal and special enemies for a short time, or Big Game, where Brain Rot will be able to charm elite enemies, meaning you could turn the biggest enemies in the game, such as Abominations and Amalgams, to be completely friendly, which to me sounds like the best choice. For minor augments, we have Extension, where the Brain Rot duration is slightly increased, Haste, where the cooldown is slightly reduced, or Explosive, where charmed enemies explode at the end of Brain Rot's duration, dealing toxic damage. To me, it's a no-brainer to combine Explosive, where charmed enemies explode at the end of the duration, and Big Game, where you'll have that effect with massive elite enemies exploding, making this the most effective combo of ammo mods for Brain Rot. Moving on to Cryo Freeze that you unlock at level 14, the major augments are Big Game, where again Cryo Freeze can slow elite enemies, Ice Cloud, where enemies that are killed while frozen will leave a cloud that slows enemies, and Frozen Stiff, where enemies are frozen in place. For minor augments, we have Extension, which slightly increases the slow duration, Freezer Burn, which slightly increases damage to frozen enemies, and Liquid Nitrogen, which significantly increases your chance for Cryo Freeze to activate. Again, I would choose the augments that slow elite enemies, as well as slightly increase the damage to frozen enemies. Moving on to Deadwire, which is available immediately from level 0. Major augments are Chain Lightning, where the stunned enemy can spread the stun to others, like the Wonder Waff, Big Game, which again can stun elite enemies, and Lightning Strike, where a bolt of lightning strikes from above, stunning all normal and special enemies in the area. This one sounds like the most OP one to choose. And for minor augments, we have High Voltage, where Deadwire slightly deals more damage, Haste, where the cooldown is slightly reduced, or Extension, where the stun and electric field lasts longer. Moving on to Napalm Burst that you unlock at level 6, the major augments are Big Game, where again it can burn elite enemies, Thermite, which increases the burn effect damage, which sounds like a very powerful one to choose, or Firebomb, where burnt enemies explode on death, spreading the fire to nearby enemies. That also sounds extremely OP. For minor augments, we have Extension, which increases the burn duration, Incendiary, where each damage tick has a small chance to spread to a nearby enemy, and Contact Burn, where the initial burn effect deals more damage. The final ammo mod and the new one for Black Ops 6 is Shadow Rift that you unlock at level 44. The major augments are Big Game, where it can activate on elite enemies, Topple Danger, where warp one enemy that deals shadow damage to others, and Explosive Rain, where enemies that are dropped from portals will explode on contact with the ground, which sounds funny and powerful. Minor augments, we have Haste, where the cooldown is reduced, Targeted, which dropped enemies will fall on other enemies, which also sounds hilarious, and Supermassive, where the lethal radius is increased and can kill more enemies. From what we've seen so far, the actual ball that the Shadow Rift ammo mod creates isn't that big, so Supermassive as a minor might actually be the one you'll want to rock. Moving on to field upgrades, we have 5 in total: Ether Shroud, Frenzied Guard, Dark Flare, Healing Aura, and Energy Mine. And these field upgrades are already powerful as is, but some of these upgrades are genuine game changers, starting with Ether Shroud, where the major augments are Group Shroud, where nearby players are also cloaked when you activate Ether Shroud, which sounds so OP for people that are not rocking the same field upgrade. Burst Dash, where you walk forward a short distance, killing all normal enemies in your path when you're using Ether Shroud, or Void Stealth, where swap to your dedicated melee weapon as it's imbued with Dark Aether energy. Kills allow you to stay in Ether Shroud for longer. In my opinion, this is without doubt the most OP augment that you could choose for this, because if you melee zombies whilst you're cloaked, you will stay in Ether Shroud for longer, and this could be a game changer for doing some incredible revives, but you might just need a little bit of a longer amount of time in Aether Shroud in order to pull it off, and this allows you to extend it for an incredibly long amount of time if there are zombies nearby to quickly take out with this melee weapon imbued with Dark Aether energy. For minor augments, there is instant reload, where activation instantly reloads your currently held weapon, where that sounds extremely powerful. Extra charge, which increases your max charges by 1, or extension, where the duration is significantly increased in Aether Shroud. Combining this extension minor augment with the Void Stealth Major could be the most overpowered version of Aether Shroud that we have ever seen. Moving on to the new field upgrade, Dark Flare, the major augments are extension, which significantly increases its duration, Supernova, where the beam is replaced with a sphere that damages nearby enemies as it travels. The ball detonates at the end of the duration, which sounds a little bit similar to the Cerberus ball that would follow you when you use that wonder weapon in Mauda Toten. And Dark Pact, where beam heals and revives other players on contact, which almost sounds like another version of healing aura. You'd physically use it whilst aimed at downed players in order to revive them. On minor augments, we have Broad Beam, which significantly increases the size of the beam, Heavy Shadow, where the beam slows enemies on contact, and Extra Charge, which increases its max charges by 1. Moving on to Frenzied Guard, which you unlock at level 9. The major augments are Phalanx, where teammates can also repair armor from kills while near you whilst you have Frenzied Guard active. Retribution, which triggers an explosion upon activation. Normal enemies melee the player are damaged and knocked down. And Frenzy Fire, while frenzied, use ammo from your stock, which sounds a little bit like Ring of Fire. Notice how that is not mentioned anywhere in the field upgrade, so it sounds like that is gone, but it's now been sort of added into Frenzied Guard. For minor augments, Repair Boost, which repairs more armor per kill, Extension, which increases its duration, or Rally, where upon activation, repair all nearby teammates' armor to full, which is an extremely powerful thing to have. Honestly, it really is between Repair Boost for that armor or Rally for me. Moving on to Healing Aura, which you unlock at level 33. The major augments are Resilience, where all affected players have their health regen delay reduced and the rate of healing increased temporarily. Enduring Radiance, where the beams and their healing effects persist for a short time after leaving the area of effect. And Persistence, where revived players keep all perks on their bleed out bar. That last one ties in again to an effect that was with one of the perk augments, so it's crazy that there is crossover there. You can mix and match and have some abilities across different bits of equipment. For minor augments, we have Inner Strength, where affected player damage is slightly increased for a short time, Protection, where healed players have damage slightly mitigated for a short time, and Stoic Presence, where on activation, special and elite enemies are stunned while normal enemies are knocked down. That sounds very powerful. And last but by no means least, Energy Mine, which is unlocked immediately. The major augments for that are Scatter, where the Energy Mine will split into 3 mines that scatter and detonate 1 time each, Turret, where instead of an energy mine, you will deploy a energy turret that shoots at the nearest enemy, which sounds crazy, and Carousel, where 3 energy mines will float around you, detonating while an enemy is nearby. We've seen gameplay of this one via a short form video in August, and honestly, all 3 of these sound absolutely fantastic. And for minor augments, Frequency Boost, which will increase the duration as well as increase the detonation count of Energy Mine, Extra Charge, which will give you an extra charge of the field upgrade, and Siren, where Energy Mine now attracts nearby normal enemies for a short time, which will obviously allow you to take out more zombies more effectively when using that field upgrade. And last but by no means least, let's quickly go over all of the Gobblegums in Black Ops 6 Zombies at launch. These are broken down into 4 different rarities, starting with Rare. We have Stock Option, Anywhere But Here, Temporal Gift, Shields Up, Killjoy, Cashback, and Arsenal Accelerator. For Epic Gobblegums, we have Who's Keeping Score, Nowhere But Here, Profit Sharing, Exit Strategy, Free Fire, Soda Fountain, and Respin Cycle. For Legendary Gobblegums, we have Idolize, Phoenix Up, On the House, Immolation Liquidation, Wall Power, Crate Power, and Wall-to-Wall Clearance. And finally, for Ultra and Whimsicals, we have Near Death Experience, Wonder Bar, Newtonian Negation, Perkaholic, Hidden Power, Raindrops, and Indigestion. The way you earn Gobblegums inside of Black Ops 6 Zombies is simply by playing zombies and surviving rounds, where every few rounds you will earn 1 or several random Gobblegums at a time. You'll be able to earn all 28 Gobblegums immediately at launch when you start playing, but if you hit these specific levels in your progression from rank 1 to rank 55, every time you reach one of these levels, you will be gifted one of each of these Gobblegums that you see here in this list. chest. And as part of certain prestige level rewards, such as Prestige 1 level 20, you'll also unlock a Gobblegum pack that will give you a selection of Ultra and Legendary Gobblegums for free. So there is definitely quite a lot of ways to earn Gobblegums for free in this game, but it has also been mentioned that you'll also be able to get Gobblegums by store purchase. What that looks like, we just don't know yet. But this was an absolutely mammoth video going over absolutely everything you need to know ahead of the launch of Black Ops 6. If at any point you enjoyed this video, you learned something new, please drop a thumbs up, subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. To not miss a single Black Ops 6 Zombies video when the game releases, including Easter egg guides, tutorials, high round strategies, and so much more, be sure to subscribe.